use, for most of us, the ATO portals or the Office of State Revenue portals either. Which is fabulous because, as we all know, they're possibly not the most reliable platforms in the world, and the efficiency of using GovReports compared to using, say, the ATO portal is just, hands down chalk and cheese. When we're using GovReports, we're actually sucking our lodgements out of our general ledgers and directly into the lodgement software. And I think what we also like about using GovReports as a lodgement platform, just before we get onto digital signatures, is that it keeps a secure and historical reference of our lodgements and work papers separate to our general ledgers, which we may lose touch with over time as clients drop off our lists. So GovReports digital signature is particularly great because it becomes part of that lodgement process. So as you suck your lodgement out of your general ledger software, that signature step, or the step in the process that requests that signature, is just inbuilt into the application. Another great feature and a great reason to use GovReports is it's not only for the lodgements. So yes, you can actually prepare and send your lodgements for signature in the one process, but you can also go into the GovReports digital signature software and just upload any old document that you either need to sign yourself or need to get signed by a client or associate. So very, very handy there, very flexible. Now, another great feature of the GovReports digital software is we have a choice between optional security protocols. Now, we're all very security conscious, in particularly the last 2 years. And most of us would have two-factor authentication of some kind on nearly everything we do. Certainly in my business, we have 2FA over everything, including our password software. And when we issue or when we issue a request for a signature, we also choose to have that sent out with a two-factor authentication. But the thing we love about GovReports is that we can choose 2 different types of two-factor authentication, and if we're actually sending something that's a bit less sensitive, we don't have to have a security protocol at all. So it gives us lots of flexibility and lots of choice. Some clients prefer a 4-digit PIN that they remember, and other clients prefer that their security code or the 2FA code gets emailed to them to the same email address. So we also in GovReports digital signature have optional signature reminders. Again, love that it's optional and we can set them any way we like. That means that after we've sent, let's say, an activity statement out to get an authorisation or a signature, we can have a reminder automatically sent out, say, a week later to make sure and help that we're getting those signatures collected in a timely fashion. And we're also indulging in optional document expiry settings, which is fantastic. So sometimes if you're, for example, issuing a quote or an engagement scope that you need to be actioned within a certain time, quote's a great example. This quote's valid for 7 days and we can set that document to expire in 7 days' time. We also have the standard features, so the multiple recipients, multiple signatories. You can have somebody copied in who's not a signatory. You can have 2 signatories or just send things out for a view only. And the software has unlimited signatures and documents, customizable message templates, and of course is absolutely free with your GovReports subscription, which is always nice. So we're going to jump into a live demo. I will beg your forgiveness up front. It is live. Anything can go wrong, but hopefully it will all be smooth sailing today. And I'm just going to walk you through a few of the processes and features. So setting the email settings so that it comes from the email of your choice, requesting a signature via the reporting process, setting PINs. Oh, we have technology going crazy already. There we go. Setting PINs and making sure that everything's working smoothly with your client's choice of two-factor authentication, or in fact no two-factor authentication. we're going to see how we can manage the documents that we have in GovReports, set reminders, manage a custom message template, and actually also get a document signed that has nothing to do with the lodgement process at all, so you can see how that works. If there's anything I missed or anything you'd like a bit more information on, again, please shout out in the chat window or send us an email, and we'll absolutely come back to you with whatever it is that you need to see. So this is your GovReports dashboard, and the first thing that we're going to do is actually set our email in our account settings. So settings and then my account, we're going to set our email settings so that when we send out a document for signature, we're able to have it come from an email of our choice. So here are my email settings. I can edit those email settings, and I might choose that email address when I get notifications goes to notifications at GovReports. I won't update this or I'll get in super trouble. But I can also actually send my outgoing email. So we use Gmail. You could use Yahoo or another mail provider. I've got my Gmail settings in here, and I'm also able to cut and paste my email signature here. So that will take pictures and HTML as well, which makes it really, really nice. And when I submit those changes, it will update, and these settings will now be applied to anything that comes from GovReports. So we'll pop back, and the next thing that we will walk through is how to manage that lodgement process and how to get a signature as we go through a lodgement. So the first thing I'm going to do is pop into my saved reports. Again, because this is a demo file, I can't show you all of the fun stuff. That's my last pass up in the corner there. I can't show you the fun stuff of how to actually prepare a lodgement, but today's demo is actually about getting the digital signatures, so that's what we're going to focus on. I'm going to pick an STP event, and I'm going to go to the edit settings, and then scroll right down to the bottom. And after I've entered my STP payroll lodgement details, which is at the top here, I'm actually going to go to validate and then send for signature. So I could just validate the report. That sends a message to the ATO and comes back with errors or with not. But if I would like to validate and send for signature, this will, when I submit it, automatically open up the signature. So, oh, the technology gods hate me. Let's try this one. Okay. There we go. First technology gods stumble. It's all good. So this is part of that reporting process. As I said, uploaded my STP lodgement details. I've followed that process all the way through, and at the end of the process, I've asked to validate and send out for signature. Now that's opened our GovReports signature software application, and you can see that the STP lodgement document is here. And of course, the lodgement itself is not the only thing that we send out for signature. So I'm also going to upload, let's say, some work papers. These are my demo work papers. They're very, very important. So now not only do I have my lodgement document, but I also have my work papers, and I can add as many documents here as I like. And I can have signatures on one or all of the documents. So the next step, if we just follow the process, is to go down and figure out who to send it to. So I'm actually going to send it to myself, which is handy. I can type anybody's name and email in here. And the designation of this person is going to be a signee. I'm going to have to sign it. And I'm going to actually enter a security code to the email address. That means that for me to sign this document when I receive it at kate@sbfo, I will get another email with the two-factor authentication. Now, if I chose to, I could set a security code. For example, I could set 007, fancy myself a bit of a Bond girl, as a security code, and I would communicate that to my client either by text message perhaps, or through a set standard or process that we have with our clients. And I can also send a private message if I chose. That would go to that signatory only. Now I'm actually going to add, let's say, the business manager into this lodgement authorisation, but we're going to make Jamie a view-only recipient. And because it's view-only, we're going to set no security code for this one. Okay, so as you can see, you can add as many recipients as you like. They can be view-only or signatories. And then we get to the part where we're able to send out the message that goes with the lodgement software. So your STP authorization. Oops, can't spell either, or can't type. And then I can either write my own message or I can select from preset messages. Or if you're just setting them up, you can actually type in a message here and then save the message as you send it. So what we can also do is set reminders and notifications for this signature. So remember, we're actually asking for an authorization on an STP lodgement. So yes, it's pretty important. I'm going to create a reminder. Now, I'm going to send a notification to the signee right away, so just one day. And I'm going to repeat it every day because, you know, we might only have 3 days to get a payroll authorised. Now, this is a payroll, so I am going to set it to expire in, let's say, 3 days. And I'm going to have a notification of that expiry sent just 1 day before it exists. Now remember, this is optional. You don't have to create a reminder and you don't have to set an expiry date, but it's a nice feature to have. So once you're happy with who you're sending it to and the message that you're sending with it, we're going to click next and walk ourselves through where these signatures need to go on these documents. Now, the first person and second person, we get to put the cross where they need to sign. So if Jamie were actually a signatory, we could pop her on one page and then myself, Kate, here on another. But as it happens, if I try to get Jamie to sign this one, it's not going to let me because she's actually only a viewer of this software. So I'm going to set where Kate, myself, is going to sign. Pretty obviously in the signature box is the first place. And you know what? I actually like my clients to sign off on the work papers. And that could be anywhere on that document at all. And if I accidentally make a bit of a mistake, whoops, I can remove those signatures and just have another go. There I am. So now I am signing both the STP lodgement authorisation in the box and the demo work papers at the bottom of the page. I don't have to sign both. In fact, I could turn these work paper signatures off if I didn't require my client to sign them, but I do really, really like to have people sign off that they've acknowledged those work papers or whatever it is that means they have a reasonable basis for that authority. So I think the ability to send multiple documents is really important. And away we go. I've clicked send for signature and this has just become part of my lodgement and authorisation process. Now this has bounced me back into the managed documents, what I call the managed documents section, the My Documents section in the GovReports digital signature software. If we were back in GovReports proper, we could go to our apps up here and access that same digital authentication app from the home page here. So if you weren't doing this as part of a lodgement process, again, you'd simply go to the app box in the top right, just like a lot of the other software we use, and go to the digital authentication app. So since we're here, we might like to manage our documents. Now, once we select any in the list here, we've got the option to send a reminder if it hasn't been signed, to void the document. Let's say it becomes no longer valid, but you do need to keep a record of it for your work papers. To delete the document, pretty self-explanatory, and to archive it, again, pretty self-explanatory. One thing I really do like about the digital signature software in GovReports is that we have an activity feed against each of the documents, so we can see who's done what, who's signed it, who's uploaded pages, who's edited, etc., which is really nice just from an audit perspective. And of course we can choose to view the documents. There's also the menu options over on the right here to view them as a separate PDF, or actually view those documents as a combined PDF, which is quite handy if you had multiple pages in something you've sent to signature. You can view those documents as a combined PDF and download them as one file if you wanted to. You also have a certificate which basically endorses that signature, and you can send it out as an email again. I think those are really good features. They're not standard in a lot of the document software that I've seen, and certainly the ability to set these messages as customizable messages for different types of signatures saves a lot of time and is very efficient. So what we might also do is pop in and see how we can edit a document as we're going. So I'd like to select this one, remind void, or I can send a reminder from this top right hand corner here. I've got all my document details, and I've also got in this application a list of my contacts and a list of things that I've signed. I can also set my signature. That's pretty standard across these digital signature softwares. You can type in a signature or even upload a signature file that you have. What we'd also like to do is actually sign a document ourselves, and we're going to upload something here, something very important for me to sign, and go through the process of just like uploading any old document, not part of the lodgement software at all. I need to sign this document. Here's where I give, I might agree to give up my firstborn and waive all liability, care or responsibility for that child. He's 14 at the moment. Believe me, that's starting to sound rather appealing. And I can finish, and now in very short order, I've put my signature on any document that I might need to sign myself, perhaps a workers' comp declaration, and then I can go ahead and email that to whoever it needs to go to. Again, this is a demonstration of how you can use the GovReports digital signature software for anything at all that you need to sign or you need to get signed by one of your clients or associates. So not only does it offer that inbuilt lodgement process signature, but you can get anything you like signed in here and use it as a standalone piece of software for that matter. So that pretty much brings us to the end of our demo. I will flick back to the slides just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Whoops, I have custom message templates. Okay, very quickly, up in the settings, my messages, here are all the messages that I have already saved. Obviously, some of them are tests, and you saw that I saved a new message as I was going through the demonstration process. I can delete any of these, and indeed I probably should. And I can also add new messages as and when I need them. So this becomes a message that I can put on any particular type of lodgement. Let's say we have 50 BAF lodgements to get out. We don't want to be copying, pasting, or heaven forbid typing the same message out every time we send that lodgement out to our clients. Instead, we use one of our custom messages, and again, that's just from our settings menu. Very easy to access, really, really intuitive to use. So that brings us to the end of our demo. My practice has gone ahead in leaps and bounds since we started using GovReports, and I think the digital signature software is just another really great feature and a fabulous value add for GovReports in general. Certainly, if you did a time and motion study, which we have done, on the time it takes to prepare and issue a lodgement the old-fashioned way, so putting the information into, let's say, the ATO portal or one of the state government portals manually, saving that, printing it out, putting it together with work papers, emailing it out to a client, getting them to print, sign and scan, or even actually manually uploading it into another piece of digital software. That process versus the process of working through GovReports, preparing a lodgement directly from the general ledger, and then validating and sending that lodgement for signature in the one process, I think about halves the time it takes us to issue and manage lodgements, particularly when you consider that we don't need to log into the ATO portal. Again, such a reliable piece of software. So no mucking around with downtime there. We can do it any time of day. If the ATO systems are down for whatever reason, that's fine, because GovReports stores everything and then pushes it back out when it's ready to go. So my role here at GovReports is to talk to you in practice. I myself am in practice. So if you have any more questions about how GovReports could work for you, for your team or your practice, please reach out to us. My email is kate@govreports.com.au. There's always a typo, no matter how many times you read the slide. And you can also call GovReports on 1300 652 590, all in Australia, of course. And please do remember that if you think GovReports could help a friend or an associate in practice, GovReports does have a fabulous referral program, and you're able to receive an account credit as a thank you for us if any of your friends or associates do subscribe to GovReports. So again, I hope you've enjoyed this, our first webinar for 2019. I hope you've had a fantastic break. Wish you a fabulous year ahead. And if you're interested of seeing more of the fabulous features of GovReports, we have Ali Cochrane on at 6 o'clock doing another webinar today about the Office Practice Manager, which is the CRM and workflow management aspect of the GovReports platform. So if you're interested in more, please stay tuned, jump on, have a talk to Ali at 6 o'clock tonight. And again, if you have any more questions about GovReports or how it can help you in your practice, please reach out to us. And Tiana is about to sign off for us.
No. There are a few questions, and
Awesome.
that we haven't gone through. So I'll start with the first one. I think this is for the questions from Trish Anderson, and the question is, does this eliminate the need to redact tax file number in the documents?
Sorry, Tiana, can you say that again? I can't see the question in the panel here.
The question is, does this eliminate the need to redact tax file number in the documents? I'm not too sure.
So, yeah, no, I do. So, yes, Trish, so I think it is Trish. When GovReports, we're talking about STP now and any payroll reports. Once GovReports redisplay those reports, the tax file numbers are redacted and you only get the last 3 digits. So no, it doesn't remove the requirement for it, but it does do it for you. Trish, does that answer your question?
Okay, thanks, Kate. The next question is from Ingrid, and the question is, as we don't have to validate every STP event now, would you still get authorization for every event?
Absolutely, as required by the TPB, unless you have a binding engagement. There are some guidelines on the ATO website now about that. If you have a binding engagement for payrolls that don't change significantly, you can have a binding engagement for a period of 12 months, in which case you don't require an authorization. However, if you don't have a binding engagement and or the payroll changes significantly, you will require a payroll authorization for each lodgement.
Okay, and the next questions I have from Jacob. Can clients do an electronic signature, or do they need to print off, sign, and then upload?
Okay, Jacob, no, they do not have to print, scan, and sign, print, sign and scan. The point of having an electronic signature is that we don't have to use a pen anymore at all. So what happens when the clients receive their documents, they're asked to click on a link, then depending on the security settings that we put in place, they will go through a two-factor authorization or none at all, again, those optional security settings. And from there, they're able to click and sign or click to sign online using either a signature they've uploaded or a signature they've just typed or drawn into the application.
I think the next question is also from Jacob, and it says that at the moment they are forwarding, that means the clients are forwarding Jacob the email as a digital signature without copying and pasting a signature as per the demo. Can it be done this way?
I am not certain. That would be bordering on legal advice, Jacob. I would want to check with your association or the Tax Practitioners Board as to whether an email authority is sufficient and for what type of authorisation it is sufficient. I know that, in most cases, in all practical terms, an email authority is okay, but that's legal advice that I can't give you. I certainly, in my practice, would not rely on an email as an authorisation, primarily because I can't assure the authenticity of it. Anybody can send an email. Emails are, fundamentally insecure means of communication. So I know that my practice relies on digital signature software, and that everything that we lodge, submit or send on behalf of a client is authorised with a digital signature.
Okay, the next question is from Peter. Can the document be signed through our practice app?
The Office Practice Manager, yes, the whole GovReports platform is integrated. So today we went through the process of requesting a signature from the lodgement process. We went through the process of uploading a document and doing it directly in the signature application, and I believe the Office Practice Manager is also integrated in a similar way.
Okay, and the next question is from Deb Johnston. I actually won a subscription 5 years ago and never used it. Is there a chance I could use that now? I'll answer that question for you, Kate. We do, well, unfortunately, it's 5 years ago. We don't have, it's probably expired, but you can give us a try. There is a 30 days free trial on the platform, and just we'll take it from there, I guess. And the next question's from Brenda Lee. Can I please have a recording? Yes, this session is recorded. There was a bit missing at the beginning because somehow we missed that, but we will send you the remaining of it, just the very beginning of it, so you won't miss very much. The next question, can you please go through again how to add your own signature to a document that has been signed by the client? That's pretty simple.
No problem.
Yep.
So what we'll do is we'll just send a new document from scratch. So on the screen in front of me, I'm going to sign my own document. So up we go. I'm uploading a document from my computer, and I'm going to sign it here. Now, I've already set up my signature over here, and I've just typed it in. In the settings to my left, you can see my signature, and I can change it to be, well, let's first change it to another font perhaps. I've just typed my signature in this example. I can also draw it in on my mouse pad, which is fundamentally not very pretty. There we go. That's a good start. or I could actually upload the signature from a file on my computer if I happen to have a signature file there, which I don't think I do. No. So there's the three options that we have to set a signature, and that signature then just gets put onto the document I've just opened that document that I uploaded. I've gone through the signing process. Your clients will do something very similar when they receive their signature request. I'm just going to click with my mouse to pop the signature on the page there where I wanted it. You can see it down here. And then I'm going to click finish and I'm all done.
Okay, thanks, Kate. I hope that's clear for you, Jacqueline. The next questions I've got for you, Kate, is that there's a retro paper. Okay, we can send you through Ali. Ingrid, the registrations for Ali's webinar tomorrow. Would it be possible to make the signing area on the BAS or IES bigger? Sandeep, you're on the line. Do you mind unmute and answer that?
Yes, Tina. So we'll check that because currently we have designed the activity statement page to fit into the screen. We'll think about that. We'll talk to our designers and we'll think about resizing the signature box.
Okay, so the next question.
Thanks,
Sandeep. The next question is also from Jacqueline that has been digitally signed by the client or GovReports. Yeah, so we just go back to the basically signing on your own documents for when the client had already signed. You can upload, Jacqueline, you can upload your own documents, the document that the client has signed, and you can put your signature in. Sandeep, is there a process? Basically, you could have put that at the beginning before you send it off, but what if you already send it off to the client to be signed, and then you want to sign that document? Is that possible, Sandeep?
There are two ways, Tina. First, you need to upload the document and you can sign that, and download, and you can send it to the client. The other way is that you can add the, when you upload the document, you can add yourself as one of the signee. Okay. And then send it to your client. So both of you can do this different links. You can do the signatures.
Diana, I think Jacqueline, we'll think about that answer and we'll possibly come back or update with you. But at the moment, as Sandeep mentioned, you can initially before you sign the document, before you send the document for signing by the client, you can sign the document beforehand. Or you can add yourself as one of the person to sign the document. That way, you know, that process is there. But if the document has already been signed and you want to add your signature afterward, we'll think about how this process will fit in. But and we'll update it as if we have a solutions for that. The next question, the signature often ends up on the bottom line and is very hard to read. And I think that's, we come back to the earlier questions from Diana as well regarding it's more, we work with designers to make that perhaps more easier to see.
I'll also throw in there, Tiana, that it's a digital signature. So the authorization comes from the IP stamp and the encryption. So absolutely aesthetics have to be there. We're running business. It has to present well. But it actually doesn't impact the authenticity or the authorization itself because it's not the picture of the signature that's the authorization. It's the digital stamp, which has been two-factor authenticated.
So the questions I got from Jacob, I've got a template for BAS and IES which they forward to me and copy and paste wording in the body of the email together with the attachment which is allowed.
Jacob, it may well be. I can't give you advice on that. My consideration there is for your client experience. I know I certainly had an accountant do exactly that to one of my clients recently, where the accountant sent an email and said, please copy and paste this text into your return email with this document, and that's your digital signature. I mean, to be honest, that's a pretty poor client experience. You're asking your client to do copy, pasting, jumping through hoops. The alternative is to send them an email saying, please, can I have your signature here? Click on the link, pop your signature in, and away we go. It's also not subject to any middleman attack in your email, and it's encrypted and has the benefits of that two-factor authentication security. I think it's a bit more professional, to be honest.
Okay, thanks, Kate. The next question is from Pauline. Is the webinar tonight or tomorrow? I think you're referring to, we do have two webinars tomorrow. One is the scalable practice, which will also be presented by Kate, and the later one is from Ali Cochran. Both will be on practice management. The early one by Kate will be more into the early stages why as a practitioner you should be considering practice management tool. Right, Kate?
Yes, absolutely. And just talking about efficiencies and the components to scaling your practice or growing it. And if not growing it, just making it, work more efficiently, easier, quicker, faster, so that you've got some more free time.
The questions from Ingrid. To confirm, the signature can just be a font?
Yes, absolutely. You saw the signatures I just did on the screen before. I'll pop them back up there now. Got to try and get the question box out of my way. So again, what I explained is that the signature isn't the writing. It's not the picture. So this is my signature. That would do. Or I can put CCamp. This is just me typing it in. I can draw it in with my mouse, but as we saw before, that's a little bit messy. Or I can upload a picture of my signature, but that itself isn't the authorization. This is the aesthetics. So when the client clicks that they sign, they've gone through a two-factor authentication process if you've chosen. It's the IP stamp and the encryption of that document through the software that is itself the authorization. It's the action of the authorization, not just the pretty picture of the signature. So to answer your question, yes, it can just be typed in or drawn in, or it can be a picture that you've taken with your phone. I hope that's clear.
Sounds good. Okay, thanks, Kate. Next questions. Do details from Mark Herden, do details of clients sync over to my contacts, saved retyping email addresses? Simple, yes.
Absolutely. So you can see over here on, oh my goodness, over here, I've got a list of contacts I've been using with my demo file. Now, obviously in my practice file, this is as long as your arm.
So if you've got clients already, your client list in GovReports, as soon as you put in the client's name, or even if you, when you prepare their reports, it automatically brings their details, pre-fill their details, including their contact details and email address over, so you don't have to retype them.
Cool.
Okay. The next questions from Kim Harris. Is it also possible to have some basic tools on the form, such as highlighting some text, etc.? Sandeep?
Watch this space, Kim. I've been nagging for these features. Sandeep hates me about now, but I believe it's on the development path, isn't it, Sandeep?
That's right. I'll just make note of that. That's a good idea.
Again. Thanks, Kim. You're awesome.
Okay. I still got a question from Jacob. I think following his last question, which was about the template for BAS and IAS. But he's saying that, but they still need, the clients still need to create.
Yes, Jacob, I can see the questions. I can see them now, Tiana. So only once, Jacob. So they set it up once and then they just click. That's it. It's certainly not a copy and paste. And as we've just said, even if they didn't want to set up, I just did air quotes, which you can't see, but set up in air quotes a signature by uploading a picture, they do that one time and then it's saved in their login. Otherwise, as you've said, they just type their name in and away they go. Done.
Okay.
Tiana, you'll have to answer the question about Sage Handysoft from Sharon.
Yeah, so the question is, does this software run side by side with Sage Handysoft? If I do BAS in Sage, do I then upload to GovReports to email? We integrate with Sage 1. Are we talking about the same thing?
No, Sage Handysoft is the
tax related, right?
Version. Yeah.
So so I'm seeing here it's BAS in Sage. So we integrate with Sage 1, so you can export the file direct to GovReports. But if it's not the versions that we have integrated with them, you can certainly send us the sample file. You can download it, and we will look at enabling. But I believe that Sage will be making an announcement very shortly, because we also integrate with their desktop product, and which will be released perhaps in a few weeks, 1 or 2 weeks time. You hear about it possibly from Sage directly. I'm not too sure, because I'm seeing here it's BAS. It's not for tax returns, but certainly activity statements for all Sage products. I hope that answered your question, Sharon.
Awesome. So what software we integrate, Pauline, is the basics. So let me just jump back into here. This is a demo file, so I can't actually show you the list, but off the top of my head, you can do a manual lodgement, so you don't have to link with software. Xero, QBO, MYOB, Sage 1, CSV. So if you have a CSV import, you can also use that for GovReports. Tiana, did I miss any?
Reckon 1.
Reckon 1, sorry. Sorry, Reckon.
And also Reckon desktop product, you can also upload the XML file as well.
Yeah. So in short, most of the color is in the small business ledger paddle pool, plus manual, plus CSV. I think we've got to the end of our questions, guys. If you do have any more questions or something just pops into your head at 11 o'clock at night, which sometimes happens to me, please send me an email at kate@govreports, or just give Sandeep a call on the support line, and we're always happy to have a chat about how we can add value to your business.
There is the last question from Jacob.
Yeah.
Can you upload the STP files from Reckon desktop? Sandeep, have we start working with Reckon on the STP file upload? Can't hear you yet.
So with the Reckon STP file, it has been already implemented. So it's available now, the JSON file that can be imported and can be lodged through GovReports.
There you go. So you definitely can upload the file and send for signature, as Kate showed earlier, before you do the lodgement. Hope that answered all your questions.
You're welcome, Jacob. That's awesome. Thanks for all the questions. It's really great when we can have an interactive audience. And thanks everybody for your questions, actually. It's really cool. Oh, one more. Tiana, I'll let you take this one from Joy.
Sandeep, the question is, what about MYOB live uploading to GovReports?
So at the moment, the MOB account, right? That's the live account. I mean, the cloud application that we have integrated for the activity statements. So the activity statement directly can be pulled into GovReports for the lodgement.
So the simple answer is yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks guys. Thanks again.
So thank you so much. Again, please reach out to us at any time. I work in practice like you guys. Really happy to chat to anyone about how to improve your practice and how GovReports can buy back some time and efficiency for you. Joy, we are going to wrap up now, but I will answer that question for you directly. So Happy New Year, everybody, and hopefully you'll join us for the rest of our webinar series in January. Bye for now.